Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marnise Nicole and I'm an acrylic painter, and today is another episode of Artist Q&A, which falls under my Meet the Artist series here on YouTube, where I want you to get to know me better, and what better way to do that than answering questions. The first video we did for this was answering what my dream project would be, and I still love that idea. I'm thinking about actually taking my art inspiration wall, removing all of the canvases and putting up just a bunch of blank canvases and refilling up the wall that way. I really might do that, but that's another video. Today's art Q&A, we are actually answering one of your questions. Whimsical Cassie, who is a follower of this channel, and she's always commenting. Thank you so much for engaging with me and asking questions, Cassie. So today we're answering your question. Posted it about a week ago under my using photo references YouTube video that I posted. It is basically about how I use like everyday references to build upon the image I see in my head. Otherwise, I will have hands that don't look like hands or faces that don't look human at all. So I help and use references to kind of pull my whole vision together. And I talked about all the different ways you can use photo references. So if you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out. But now we're going to jump into Cassie's questions. I'm going to post it here so you can read it, but I'll also be referencing it here and looking down at it. So, all right, let's get started. Firstly, I just want to say, Cassie, thank you so much for commenting. I love to see comments. I love to engage with you guys. My whole reason for making this channel is because when I first started painting, I couldn't find a lot of channels that weren't necessarily teaching, but exploring the art process. So I think I should actually go ahead and just claim lazy artist title, because a lot of the feedback I'm about to give you is coming from the perspective of a lazy artist, Cassie. So basically, I do what I can in order to eliminate the time necessary to create art. And here's why. I am working full-time. I have a corporate job in insurance. It is stressful. I love helping people, but also stress comes with insurance every day. So like now we're in tax season, so those calls are always the best. Yeah. But I really love my team and I love my job, but I do work a significant amount of time on that. I'm going to school full time to get my master's degree. I'm so close to finishing. I'm graduating this summer, so I'm very excited about that, but I'm getting a marketing degree right now. I'm taking an ethics marketing class. I have a 20-page paper due next week. It's a lot of work. I am taking French study classes because I was supposed to be in France this year, but the trip is postponed still. Yeah. And basically my point of view is like, I don't have time to paint. I usually spend in a 2-week time frame maybe an hour painting, maybe 2. I don't have like the accessible time that most people have to work on their craft. And so a lot of the feedback you're gonna get is coming from that point of view. I'm the lazy artist. I make do with the things that I have. All right, let's read your question. I love how you use reference photos and still making it your own. I never thought to paint a sketch onto the canvas. It makes total sense since with acrylics you just paint over it. Yes. Again, coming from a lazy artist, sketching directly onto a gesso canvas is one of my favorite things to do. And it eliminates the time that you would need to get your ideas out. A lot of the times I get a random idea of a painting concept, and before I even go to seek photo references for these random middle of the night ideas, I just grab the closest canvas to me and sketch out a mess. The mess usually looks something like this or this, and it is a long process to get from this to like something very creative. When I'm doing this, I'm taking away from the good artistic process of, you know, color composition swatches and setting up composition and doing a color study and you know, practicing your form, especially for me because I do not paint the figure very accurately. I can make a reasonable depiction of a human body, but I've never been good with realistic art at all. And so the figurativeness works well with my painting style, but also I paint a lot of things in a way that you would not actually see features because I don't know how to paint them. Case in point, this figure is looking away from the audience and the viewpoint of the audience because at the time I did not know how to paint faces. And I didn't want to take the time to learn to paint faces. Thus we have this composition. So things like that. So yeah, painting on canvas directly, I think it's a very fluid and organic way to share an idea. And even if you never finish the painting, you still have that kind of moment of clarity, like, I really want to paint a waterfall and I want it to look like this. It gives you a more direct to the painting, a more creative outlet, I think, versus for me when I am first sketching in a notebook and then I'm sketching with some markers and getting colors assigned. It can get very stiff for me, but that's how it works for me personally, and I think it saves a lot of time skipping all of the color comps and all of those steps. And that works for me because I don't have time to do all of those steps. It's not the best artist habit, I wouldn't say, Cassie. I would say that spending time learning and practicing your sketching and building composition, it actually makes the process so much easier. So, those are my thoughts on that. You said, I'm very bad with drawing the human body, just got to practice more. I did not take as much time to learn figurative drawing and accurate proportions and anatomy that I should have taken. I got very bored with it very quickly because there was so much fun just to play around. But what this ends up doing is, like for this painting, and I'll include the time lapse so you can check it out, I repainted her face maybe 4 or 5 times because it did not look as accurately proportioned as it should have. And if I would have taken the time to sketch it out appropriately, if I would have taken out the time to practice sketching and drawing, or drawing faces in general, I could have nailed that the first time. But it does just take practice. I used to practice sketching in my sketchbook and drawing faces so much, and I just kind of stopped, and I do regret that because it takes more time to get something like very accurate. Actually, I use this sketchbook to practice. It's called How to Draw Classic Heads and Faces, and this is from the artist Walter Foster, and it's a collectibles edition, so I'm not sure if you can still get it, but it has great tools on how to draw faces. And this is really how I learned outside of watching the Art Sherpa all the time. Okay, moving on. I'll link this down below for you, by the way, just in case you want to grab it. It wasn't expensive at all. I think like $14 to $20 if I'm remembering correctly. So continuing on with the comment, you said, I also need to practice referencing. I can draw what I see, but it's really hard to sketch what I picture in my head. And here's why I sketch on canvas, for that specific reason. Drawing from your mind can be so difficult because it's really a vision of what you have, and there's no like structured points in like thought process of, oh, I would love to paint this. And so painting a mess and making it as messy as possible really does help me get into the mindset of the picture I see in my head and make me see and build on the idea. I hope I'm making sense, but it's like painting it directly to canvas as I'm having the vision makes the transfer of the image way more accurate than me thinking about it, then going to sketch it, then going to redo it, and that sort of thing. That is exactly why, because otherwise I can lose the image and all the extra stuff. So there's that. Need to get on my Pinterest and think of something to search to practice. I would actually suggest doing Pinterest and Pexels with an S.com, Pexels, and literally just going to the trending page and picking photos and just sketching them. I do this all the time, but those stay in my sketchbook. I don't use those for final sketches. Pexels is royalty-free photos, just so you know, so you can use those for referencing. You can use those for your art, collaging, or anything like that. Do you like using the Golden Acrylics brand paints? And is it much better in compared to the Hobby Lobby brand? I actually don't have a Hobby Lobby near me, so I don't know much about their products, but I can tell you that as far as Golden Acrylics it is a very expensive brand that you don't need to start with at all. I chose to start buying the more expensive professional brands because of the color range and because of the pigmentation. Basically, I hate repainting layers, and with some of the student grade paint, I found the consistency more transparent and not as pigmented, and so I would have to do like maybe 2 layers as a color or something like that. You don't necessarily have to do that with the golden lines unless the paint is made to be transparent. So I love that, and also I love color so much so that I will buy 4 or 5 slightly different shades of the same color so that I don't have to mix it. That is not something you need to do. I have the income to support that, and I usually buy in bulk on a sale day and buy like 10 to 20 tubes of paint when it's having like a 60% off sale, because I enjoy color and I hate mixing colors because I can never get the consistency of a base color if I mixed it, if that makes sense. Like, I'll mix a black with the colors on my palette, and then when I go back to mix the colors again, which is usually like 2 or 3 weeks later because I only have a certain amount of time to paint, well, now I'm mixing a black and it's a completely different color. It doesn't have the same ratios. It doesn't match the original black. So that's why I don't like that. But when you get like colors from Golden, you have like these full ranges of colors. We just got some new launches from Golden. And for example, we just got this new transparent color, light orange, but I have no color like this. So I bought a brand new tube of orange, even though I have a full drawer of orange. But I don't have an orange like this. And I don't think I can mix this, especially with this color of transparency. So that is why I buy brands like Golden Acrylics, Charvin Arts, Matisse, those like more expensive brands. Of the expensive brands, I am really starting to love Old Holland. This goes between maybe $10 and $15 a tube, depending on the color. They have great colors. They're highly pigmented. They feel like butter. I love these now, but my favorite has always been Charvin Acrylics, which is a French brand, and they have such a good color selection, and they're very smooth. These are like $8 to $12 a tube unless it's a specialty color. They mix so many different color types. So if you're going really professional, I would go with these. I would also pick Liquitex over Golden as well. I love Golden for their color selections, but I do love Liquitex. They don't have as many colors to me as like Golden or any of the other brands, but their colors are great colors. And also, as far as student grade paint, which is what I started off with actually, Liquitex Basics is my favorite of the student grade paints. They are very comparable to the Hobby Lobby, and they are very much way more affordable, and they do have a good range of color. For the first 2 years of my painting journey, before I started really buying in bulk the different colors, I was a Liquitex girl, so I would highly recommend them. I've also used Blix and Artist Loft. Artist Loft has one of my favorite colors, this very neon hot pink, which I used in this painting right here. Love it. So they have nice neon colors and they have some nice pastels. But for someone like me who loves colors and hates the mixed colors, that is why I buy so many different brands. I buy in bulk. You don't need them, no. You definitely don't. Every color that I own, you can mix. I just don't want to. So yeah, again, from the lazy perspective. And these items are definitely a splurge. I would not recommend buying them unless you catch them on sale. should I wait to get betters first and just go for it? Or just go for it? So as far as the colors, I would definitely recommend you buying most of the basic colors, you know, reds, greens, blues, and stuff. Those solid colors in the student grade paint, they work really well. Again, Artist Loft is very good. The Liquitex Basics line, very good. Get those basic colors. I think you should start, or I will recommend starting out how I did. I had the standard grade of paints from the Basics line, and then I would see colors that interest me, and I would buy that 1 or 2 colors from the more expensive brands that I couldn't find in the Basics line. So I bought like my first very nice aqua. It wasn't a phthalo color. It was like an aqua teal color. And I was like, I don't see this in Liquitex Basics. I need to get it. And that's when I started buying from other brands, when I found these colors that I wanted, but they weren't available in the brand. So I would definitely do it that way. And my collection of paints I've built up over time. The good thing about acrylic paints is that they don't go bad unless you store them in properly. A lot of these paints that I've had for the whole time I've been painting, which has been 4 years. So it's an investment if you do buy expensive paints, but you'll have them for a long time. So I would say do that. Stick with the basics. You do not need to get more than that, except for maybe a professional grade white, because it'll be more pigmented. And other than that, I would say just if you see a color you really like, get a tube or 2 of those colors, but you don't need them. And if you're going to have like a red and a yellow, get those in the Basics line. I love learning and seeing art. Me too. Yes, I mostly watch art videos on YouTube and like videos about analyzing things, dressmaking. I have so many hobbies that I want to start, but I don't have the time for. Even hauls, they are so much fun to watch, even though those certain ones can cause to have an empty wallet. Yes, my last haul was sparked by me seeing a friend of mine's video where she bought this specific color, and I was like, oh, shopping. And then I almost went out and did the canvas sale just because I knew how many canvases were about to be on sale. And I was like, I just bought canvases. I don't need more canvases. So anyway, thank you so much, Cassie, for all of your questions. Guys, if you have questions, definitely leave them below. I hope this was helpful. And my name is Marnise Nicole, and I'm out. I will see you next week. Now that I have a computer again working, I will be hopefully bumping out more content for you guys. So until next time, bye.